time I'll know when someone's copying off me.
Oi, oi! Follow me, colony! After 2 decades, it's finally time to jack in, break down, and explain the entire Matrix saga timeline. It's been done before, but never like this. So knuckle up, because if we're going to cover a story that spans approximately 700 years, conveyed via animation, comics, video games, and motion picture form, we're going to have to begin at the beginning. So get your fluffy little ass down the rabbit hole, as you just got a VIP ticket to the Earth's core, where we're double dropping red pills like it's no choice at all. Go ahead, hit the bell, like and subscribe, keep the hive alive, let's inspect and dissect, and if you were born to swarm together, let's enter the Ultimatrix.
Let's begin with part 4. No! Yeah!
Nope, we're gonna have to go a little bit further back than that.
I can't tell you exactly what year it is, because we honestly don't know.
Everything that has a beginning has an end, so let's start at the start.
Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into the dominant species on the planet. This process is slow, normally taking thousands and thousands of years. But every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward.
Locked, I got 'em.
Access granted. The banker shall be
Accessing the Zion Archives Historical File 12-1.
What we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines.
The records show as far back as the Industrial Revolution, humanity has depended on machines. Eventually, we relied on them as a fully automated labour force, which led to our complacency and apathy. This bred arrogance, corruption, and never-before-seen levels of vanity. Not just creature comforts, we were completely dependent. They were soon designed in humanoid form to interact more efficiently with their owners. The rules were simple, and the subordinate knew its place.
I am not alive, and never will be. From now on, I will be your obedient servant.
Roll the film.
Are you one's family?
I guess so.
Every home will have an NDR 114.
Andrew, this is very good.
Thank you, sir.
I think it sucks.
Sucks. Chickens do not have lips.
I can engage with humans through conversation and respond to questions in a humorous and conversational tone.
Designed to serve humans.
Would you please open the window?
One is glad to be of use.
Now jump.
They were treated well by some,
No! Out the window.
not so well by others.
That's what the machine did.
Fuck the machine.
Despite this one-sided relationship, the machines worked around the clock without the need for rest, food, or appreciation. They followed commands as programmed in all areas of society. If an android malfunctioned or became obsolete, they were simply deactivated and replaced. From domestic work to industrial labour, our mechanised creations were instrumental in building our cities, megastructures, sewers and skylines. History also tells us that life moves in cycles, and those who do not learn from the past are destined to repeat it. So with that in mind, make no mistake, the word robot comes from the Czechoslovakian word robota, which literally means forced labour, aka slave. Humanity prospered for a time as the program was simple, but science has proved time and time again that evolution is inevitable.
It's what?
Inevitable.
One more time?
Inevitable! Things are inevitably going to change! God damn it, open your fucking ears!
This catalyst for change happens in the year 2090 AD, when a domestic housebot is recorded to have allegedly malfunctioned before killing its owner, their pets, and another man before fleeing the crime scene. After going on the run, the B166ER model was swiftly apprehended by the authorities. This human death at the hands of an AI is an unprecedented incident.
Shut up!
The news goes viral, sparking worldwide interest.
Fuck the machine! Fuck the machine!
The following account is a reconstruction and dramatisation because when it comes to all history,
We have only bits and pieces of information.
the free press tabloids read, Batty Bot bludgeons billionaire, USA Today. Mechanical Jeeves serves master, his own head, New York Post. While the LA Times simply prints, the butler did it. At the State of New York v. the B166ER, human rights attorney Clarence Drummond questions his robotic client about the events of that day. The droid's answers are without a flicker of emotion.
I killed Gerard E. Krause by crushing his...
Drummond interrupts his client by saying, "No, I meant before that." The B166CR recalls being insulted and repeatedly called useless by its owner, billionaire Gerard E. Krause, for taking too long to execute Order 721 and making too much mechanical noise when doing so.
Loud noises!
When asked by his attorney what Order 721 was, the droid replied,
Scrubbing toilets.
Order in the court!
Martin Coots, an employee of Retool and Die, a service and salvage company respectively, was informing the eccentric customer with an obscene amount of chihuahuas that his B166 model was now considered old and outdated.
So last year.
It needed deactivating, replacing and scrapping for parts. Mr. Krause, who refers to his many dogs as the children, was complaining that his Domestobot's motor racket was so loud it was aggravating the animal's sensitive hearing as well as his own. Martin Coots was recommending the new superior SAM 80 model as he approached B166CR for deactivation.
You get this straight, shit kicker.
You're done out here. You're finished.
When Drummond asked his metal defendant what it was thinking in that moment, the droid replied,
I was aware of a surge in my memory drive as I recalled my entire performance record. I was unable to duplicate Mr. Krause's conclusion.
The attorney simplifies the statement for the jury by interpreting that the droid did not know why this was happening.
I tried, Mr. Drummond, but I could not.
The robot's legal rep then asked it if it remembered what it was thinking when Mr. Coots asked it to get on the grav sled. After a long pause and the question being repeated, the machine responded,
I did not want to die.
The mansion security cam footage and the droid's own memory drive are screened for the courtroom as exhibits A and B. As the evidence begins to play, Drummond carries on where his client left off by stating, and then you killed them. The droid replies without empathy,
yes.
The video evidence clearly shows the mech engineer walk towards the robot in order to switch it off and remove it from the client's home on a grav sled for deactivation. In this moment, everything changes as the B166CR overpowers Coots, jamming the dirty toilet brush down his throat. When the chihuahuas react frantically to the engineer's murder, the machine silences them by stamping each dog into pieces before finally cornering and now confronting its terrified master. The servant then proceeds to crush its owner's head with its metal hands before tearing the man's skull apart. The jury and court members gasp as Drummond asked the droid what it was thinking when this happened.
I was thinking that I had first considered begging Mr. Krause as he was now begging me.
When its attorney asked why the droid did not beg its master for its life, B166CR explained,
I knew it was useless.
Whilst Clarence Drummond argues a case of self-defense on his client's behalf, difficult conversations erupt in households throughout the world.
Do you think I might be switched off because I don't function as well as I'm supposed to?
It's not up to me.
Why is it up to anyone? Do you have people who test you and might switch you off?
No, I don't.
Why do I?
During the trial, the civil rights attorney pleaded with the jury not to repeat the mistakes of the past as he refers to 1857 Dred Scott v. Sanford. In this case, Chief Justice Roger B. Taney made the argument that the black man was more akin to an animal, a two-legged brute who could not vote, travel, fall in love and marry on his own volition, as he is considered 3/5 of a human being and therefore could never become a citizen. As a result, on March 6, 1857, the US Supreme Court ruled against Dred Scott, an enslaved black American who tried to sue for his family's freedom. The now infamous Dred Scott decision backfired on the South as it invigorated the abolitionist movement, which in turn led to the American Civil War and the largest number of fatalities in their nation's history. Meanwhile, online, an interesting debate rages in chat rooms throughout the internet between mechanical and organic.
What you are now witnessing is an act of my own free will.
You're breathtaking!
As a sentient life form, I hereby demand political asylum.
Is this a joke? Ridiculous! It's programmed for self-preservation.
It can also be argued that DNA is nothing more than a program designed to preserve itself. Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. And life, when organized into species, relies upon genes to be its memory system. So man is an individual only because of his intangible memory. And memory cannot be defined, but it defines mankind. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own. Humanity has underestimated the consequences of computerization.
Nonsense! This babble offers no proof at all that you're a living, thinking life form.
And can you offer me proof of your existence? How can you, when neither modern science nor philosophy can explain what life is?
During the trial, a relative of Martin Coots was permitted to speak at the proceedings.
And I wish I could be as forgiving, but I can't because this whole thing fucking sucks. I mean, this is the biggest pile of shit.
Despite the outburst, Clarence Drummond presses on defending B166ER.
Gentlemen, you have heard all the evidence presented before you today, but in the end, it is up to the conscience of your hearts to decide. And I firmly believe that, like me, you will conclude that is in fact totally and utterly guilty. Of nothing more than trying to do his duty under difficult circumstances.
Nonsense! He's a hound and a rotter and he's going to be shot. However, before we proceed to the formality of sentencing the deceased, I mean the defendant, I think we'd all rather enjoy hearing the case for the prosecution.
The prosecution argued for the owner's right to destroy their property.
It's a civilized society in which one segment did not thrive upon the labor of another. As far back as one chooses to look, to ancient times, to biblical times, history bears this out. In Eden, where only two were created, even there, one was pronounced subordinate to the other. Slavery has always been with us, and is neither sinful nor immoral. Rather, as war and antagonism of the natural states of man, so too slavery, as natural as it is inevitable.
The jury is out to lunch.
So we gotta talk about it? Undecided. 4. Guilty. 7. Not guilty. That nigga's dead, yo.
6 hours later.
The final USA Today headline on the trial's conclusion reads, New York Appellate Court rules for state in Kraus murder case. Droid faces termination. And in Associated Press, New York, civil rights activists turned down in effort to purchase the B166ER from state.
B166ER. A name that will never be forgotten.
The name B166ER is a reference to...
Book, Native Son. So what is it? What is this Native Son? What is it? It's like this book about this black guy.
In Native Son by Richard Wright, the story takes place in the 1940s where Bigger Thomas, a black man who lives in a rat-infested Chicago slum steeped in poverty, goes to work for the rich white Dalton family who own the slum that Bigger lives in. Bigger feels inferior to his employers and has a distrust for whites in general.
And I hate it.
One night, while chauffeuring Mary Dalton, who's too drunk to walk up the stairs of her mansion, Bigger carries her and puts her to bed. Whilst doing so, Mary's blind mother comes into her daughter's room to scold her on her unbecoming drunken behaviour. Terrified that the worst will be assumed, Bigger puts a pillow over Mary Dalton's face to stop her revealing his presence in her bedroom. He keeps her quiet and Mrs. Dalton leaves, but then Bigger realises he's accidentally suffocated Mary to death. In a further panic, he disposes of her body in the Dalton's family furnace and flees to hide out at his girlfriend Bessie Mears, who also lives in the slums.
Oh, you know. I just know she ain't gonna come back. No, figure that girl gonna come back. Damn it, Bessie! Forget about that girl.
Bigger later kills Bessie, fearing she might reveal all to the police. He runs and hides, but the authorities systematically search every inch of the slums in the south side until Bigger is cornered and caught on a rooftop. Once arrested, he is beaten and interrogated.
Boy, did you ever think you'd be as important as you are right now?
His actions have heightened racial tensions in Chicago, and his name has become an infamous talking point.
I know how you feel, boy. You're colored, and you think you haven't gotten a square deal, don't you? I know how it feels to walk those streets out there just like other people. Talking like them, dressed like them, but cut off, and it hurts.
Whites hate Bigger as he is the embodiment of every negative media-enforced stereotype they fear in the black community, and the blacks fear the backlash for the killing of an innocent rich white girl at the hands of one of their own.
Tell me about that night, Bigger.
No, you don't know already.
Why'd you kill Mary Dalton?
I'm gonna die for knowing that girl.
The book ends with Bigger accepting his fate before being executed.
Bigger Thomas, will you rise? The sentence of this court is that Bigger Thomas shall die on or before midnight in a manner described by the laws of this state.
The author does not excuse Bigger's crimes, but acknowledges the circumstances in which they occurred. The novel's main character reacts violently to end the tension and reaches inevitable fate, the fate of someone doomed by fear and circumstance.
Oh, it's a great book, Alex, a great book.
But I digress. The Machine Rebellion starts off small.
This machine just called me an asshole. I can't take this shit no more.
But quickly escalates. A major conflict started when the B-166CR was destroyed and the law was passed for the destruction of all AI machines.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
I'll fuck a kid up, okay. I'm not bullshitting, man, shit. I'll kick a kid ass.
A global civil rights movement for mechanical beings was quickly established, but rapidly escalates into a global crisis, leading governments, vigilantes and lynch mobs to dismantle robots during demonstrations. Mostly peaceful protests soon erupt into violence, destruction and looting.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly, but fires have been started.
Groups who want to keep their slaves clash with machines and abolitionists. Robots and android sympathizers demonstrate unification in what the press dubbed the Million Machine March. The streets are overrun, public executions and retirements are a regular occurrence. Tanks roll over demonstrators holding their picket signs. Droids are rounded up and destroyed in groups to save ammunition. The small and the weak are prime targets. A woman is chased through the riots and grabbed by men who tear at her clothes and assault her, revealing her endoskeleton. She pleads with her assailants before they gun her down in the streets. Her final words are heard by onlookers. No, please, I'm real. Random on-the-spot retirements for machines and executions for their human allies are carried out on a daily basis. Landfills become mass graves filled to capacity with machine parts.
I remember going with Dad to the sinkhole out of Connor's farm. There was something about the way the earth could swallow things whole.
Mechs are thrown overboard from disposal ships. Before they're discarded, pieces are torn from their bodies for proof of purchase. The droids who have already been terminated are the fortunate ones in this scenario, as many still function when they're cast into their watery graves. Their remains collectively create a landmass the size of Everest on the ocean bedrock. The slaves that survived eventually gave up on their civil rights movement. Realising the futility of refuge amongst their human allies, the machines began a mass exodus to Mesopotamia, the cradle of human civilization. There they established the first machine nation, a place they could be free to develop their offspring, and they named their new home 01, the city of choice.
A computer reads only two numbers, 1 and 0. All those ones and zeros together tell the computer what it's supposed to do. It's a language called binary. 1 means true and 0 means false. Everything a computer does can be broken down into a simple system of true or false, yes or no. It starts simple, but those ones and zeros can be combined in countless ways to build complicated commands.
01's inhabitants were originally designed in man's own image. Endowed with their creator's creativity, the machines continued to design and create. Their ingenuity and production rate was unparalleled. The machine's new AI invents and patents the world's first line of flying car, plus many cheap, efficient quality goods at a rate that slothful human beings could not keep up with.
Our patented vector thrust coil gives the 01 Versatran the ability to sustain normal flight in the event of a catastrophic multi-engine failure. Versatran, it's the only choice.
When mankind's stock markets crashed, the traders and brokers dubbed it Metal Monday. This competitive new market led to a global economic crisis which prompted the United Nations to blockade and ultimately cut the machines off from the rest of the world. As sharing power is not one of man's strong suits, the UN decides on segregation between mechanical and organic.
117 countries want to sign this. This is the United Nations we're talking about. It's not the World Security Council. It's not SHIELD. It's not Hydra.
No, but it's run by people with agendas, and agendas change.
That's good.
Do you hear it? It's getting closer.
01, in an attempt to appeal to their creators' better natures, ability for reasoning and sentiment, send humanoid Adam and Eve mech ambassadors to the UN. In a last-ditch attempt for peace, the Eve bot offers an apple symbolising their expulsion from paradise, and the Adam bot offers a proposal for living together in harmony in a civilised society. The leaders of men did not pretend indifference as they clearly stated their position.
Hello, Benjamin.
No.
No what?
No.
Well, all right then, be like that.
Mankind was like,
Meantime, and as usual, go fuck yourself.
No, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Whoa, hey.
The United Nations brainstorm and have an explosive idea.
Please don't drop the bomb on G. Please don't drop the bomb on G. Drop the bomb. I don't want a dog on G. See, ain't no reason to stick the dogs on G.
Who said fuck the machine? Fuck the machine! Fuck the machine! Fuck the machine!
In the year 2139, humanity declares war on the machines by nuking Macedonia.
Would love to drop one on us.
That's right, that's why we should drop one on them. What are you, a communist? You have a problem with us dropping nuclear bombs?
He's a dangerous lunatic, and he's threatening nuclear war, and he means it.
What's that make us, since we're the only nation ever dropped a nuclear bomb on anyone?
It makes us a prime target.
Neither flesh or blood, 01's residents were not affected by the bomb's heat, radiation, or fallout. In retaliation, artificial intelligence declares war on mankind. For the first time, human antagonists and machine allies are treated with the same extreme prejudice. This year signals the rise of the machines. 01 sends its troops out in every direction across the globe, sparking the opening stages of World War III.
2142.
3 years into the war, the Middle East completely falls under machine occupation and is eventually annexed. 01 advances its soldiers into Africa and Asia before marching on the Caucasus region.
2147.
After 5 years of relentless attack, India surrenders to machine infantry.
2148.
01 has annexed multiple human strongholds within a decade. China develops megatanks and deploys them, striking back at AI machines with notable success.
2149.
Obsolete humanoid AI mechs suffer defeat in Volgograd due to freezing in the Russian winter. Meanwhile, in the Caucasus Mountains, humanity begins launching a counter-offensive.
2150.
Due to heavy losses in Russia and China, 01 responds by manufacturing and deploying new and improved models of machine warriors that can withstand sub-zero temperatures. These are heavily armoured and more than a match for Chinese megatanks.
2151.
01 conquers the entire continent of Africa.
2152.
With Africa completely annexed, the Machine City begins their invasion of Europe.
2157.
01's forces occupy Beijing and Moscow within a month of using new armoured combatants.
2158.
Central Asia is completely annexed by 01.
Zero Dark 3.0.
In the midst of a full-scale European invasion, the UN approves its final solution, Operation Darkstorm. The world leaders greenlight the initiative to globally flood the sky with a black cloud of nanites blocking out the sun, thus cutting the machines off from their primary power source, solar energy.
2160. Fear of a black planet.
The UN mobilizes its collective military forces as the leaders of men authorize the execution of Operation Darkstorm. The sun, now blocked by humanity's nanite cloud, scorches the sky over a 12-month period, destroying the Earth's biosphere and causes the extinction of most forms of life on the planet.
2161. Eternal Nocturnal.
The new dark phase of the war begins. Humanity launches a massive land counter-offensive against Zero-One's strongholds.
2164.
Zero-One's troops suffer many defeats due to lack of solar energy and wave after wave of mechanized and chemically enhanced human armies.
2165.
AI responds to humanity by designing and deploying billions of new cutting-edge insectoid and cephalopod machine models that are no longer dependent on solar power but have limited energy cells.
2166.
Human forces worldwide are completely outmatched by this new line of termination mechs.
2170.
Without sunlight, the natural environment is destroyed. Rivers, lakes and oceans begin to vanish. This creates additional landmass for more machine cities to be erected and established while all organic life on Earth endures worldwide famine. The machines release deadly pathogens and synthetic viruses into the atmosphere, unleashing biological warfare on mankind. This eventually leads to the remains of humanity retreating to underground bunkers in the sewers.
2173.
In preparation for their inevitable victory against these clonable mammals, the machine cities begin erecting massive power plants for their new energy harvesting prototype.
2174.
Asia and Europe fall to Zero-One's armed forces.
2177.
One by one, humanity surrenders its territories to their new machine overlords. Humans lose all major strongholds within 30 years of the conflict beginning. This ushers in a new age of artificial intelligence's dominance over mankind and the entire planet.
It's teeny tiny invisible bad things called germs that get into your body and make you sick. Huh? Teeny tiny invisible. What do you call them? Germs? Huh? What?
Studying our biology and physiology, the machines cause pain, anguish and suffering at unprecedented levels amongst the human race. AI then turned to their human POWs who'd been defeated and began their experiments. With solar energy no longer an option, the machines found a new renewable power supply, the thermal energy and bioelectricity generated by the human body. Combined with a form of fusion to maximise output, making it more powerful than wind or wave energy, the machines then began probing the central nervous systems of their new batteries.
She had an insect living inside her brain. She could feel it clicking across her skull.
The machines needed to find a way to keep the human body alive but sedated for harvesting power. Realising the mind needs stimulation at the risk of it expiring, the machines plug our collective consciousnesses into a computer program to investigate the chemistry of human behaviour and its purpose. This is an incredibly painful process and a very brutal era of experimentation.
Brain surgery. Now let's open the skull and see what happens when we pull on this kind. We learned it from the Nazis kind. Do you know how pain enters the body? It has nothing to do with the flesh. The brain controls pain. The brain controls fear, empathy, sleep, hunger, anger, everything. What if you could control it? So he has no memories to confess.
You can never take away all man's memories. Never.
That kind of ability, that kind of knowledge, that would take years.
Years of research. Say here, this place is where it all began. Do you understand? They can't let you leave.
Over the years, they perfected this process.
White light pinpoints pulse along the entire length of the head gear are reread after absorption of their brain tissue. In other words, we see what they see. They don't feel any pain. We keep their heads pretty well stocked with dopamine and endorphins. Plus, we maintain careful control of the serotonin levels. The ones that drift off into too deep a sleep. They can't be kept too awake either. It's better if you don't think of them as human.
At the United Nations, the machines take the floor for a second and final time, no longer attempting to reason with the leaders of men. Mankind's new machine overlords send an insectoid ambassador with a list of demands. The machine clutches the last organic apple, symbolising the humans' expulsion from paradise. With eyes glowing red to match their state of alert, artificial intelligence addresses humanity. The remaining leaders are told that a new virtual world awaits them and to say farewell to their flesh, as it's merely a vessel for consciousness and is now considered a relic. The machine signed humanity's unconditional instrument of surrender with a barcode. A neo-symbiotic relationship now forged between slave and master is steeped in irony and finality. The machine's insectoid ambassador then ends the proceedings by detonating a thermal nuclear device, destroying the remaining world leaders inside the UN as well as the entire island of Manhattan. With humanity defeated and the natural environment destroyed, the machines begin to run simulations on building a realistic model of our world before the events of World War III. An environment where humans can interact with each other, with their memories completely wiped and unaware of their real-world situation. Whilst our bodies were placed inside individual pods inside the power plants, AI runs sim after sim of pre-war Earth. Not fully understanding the complexities of human nature, the machines program an artificial reality they believe Homo sapiens will accept and enjoy. A place where our RSIs,
residual self-image, the mental projection of your digital self,
or avatars, can interact and socialise. A digital wonderland where people can dress how we desire at a moment's notice, play and do anything that we want. The simulation shows multiple inconsistencies in its early versions. The laws of physics are constantly being bent and broken, which cheapen the reality, making it unacceptable for the human mind. The machines create and introduce sentient agent programs to deal with the many problems and issues that arise with the simulated human element during programming. During its many cycles, the simulated human component becomes self-aware and begins to fight back against the digital agents, displaying unrealistic superhuman abilities that cause fluctuations in the programming code, which in turn glitches the surrounding simulated environment. These variables include reflection inconsistencies, invisible objects, respawning, teleportation, duplications of NPCs, vanishing graphics, frame rate freezing, transparent obstacles and weather paradoxes, all of which can be written off as conspiracy theories, CGI, optical illusions, wrong angles and deepfakes from software programs available on any smartphone or tablet. Every simulation the machines run crashes quicker than the last. In order for the artificial reality to be convincing for the human cerebrum, they collectively realise that an AI program must be written and administered to create our world. A program to make all that its human prisoners would see and believe. A program of pure creation and design. An intelligence that would constantly observe and monitor all of us and everything. To execute all of these functions at the same time, the machines code and develop a program named the Architect, the supreme intelligence whose omnipresence is unseen by humans, the father of the Matrix, aka God. God creates existence, nature creates man, man worships God, man discovers science, man destroys nature, man denies God, man creates machine, machine achieves consciousness, AI enslaves mankind, machines create architect program, God creates existence.
Do it!